Good morning, everybody. Today I'm going to talk to you about histamine intolerance. And histamine intolerance is often associated with schizophrenia, and it's often associated when you get your blood test back with high basophil. So if you see that come up, that could be about histamine intolerance. So some things to consider when you have histamine intolerance is metrotethahydrofolate reductase enzyme, or otherwise MTHFR, and that's where you can't convert your folate into the right cycle and it goes off to do other things. It's worth getting that tested if you're having histamine intolerance. Medications can cause histamine intolerance. The state of your gastrointestinal system, so if you've got IBD, an infection, dysbiosis, gastritis, parasite infection, any of those things, they can all play a role in histamine intolerance. So copper levels, you need to have copper to metabolize histamine, but and other cofactors as well, like B6 and other ones. So if you're not absorbing your food well, so that could be an issue here with histamine intolerance. So some symptoms that you might look out for histamine intolerance. One of the big ones is hives. If you eat something and then you get hives, that's a pretty good one. Hay fever-like symptoms that you've got and you can't, you don't seem to be able to manage or get rid of. That's a good sign of histamine intolerance. Diarrhea or stomach aches and pains and cramps, headaches and migraines, food sensitivities, painful periods, and PMS-like symptoms that don't go away even when you treat them. Flushing, hypertension, asthma, itchy skin, anxiety and mood disorders can be put down to histamine intolerance. Vertigo, arrhythmia, nausea, vomiting, sinus-like symptoms, itchy nose, itchy eyes, runny nose. And one that I missed out the other day when I was doing my Instagram one was insomnia. So some people just have very few of the other symptoms, but they do have insomnia. So if that's you, so histamine intolerance occurs when there's either an increased availability of the histamine or impaired histamine breakdown in your blood. So increased histamine availability, can't get my words out today, can result from having more histamine being made in your blood due to allergies or gastrointestinal bleeding or mastocytosis, which means too many mast cells. So the mast cells basically burst open and they cause a big range of these little mast cells go into the histamine goes into the blood, and if you don't have the enzyme that works to break that down, you can't clear it. And increased consumption of histamine producing foods. So right now we have lots and lots of people eating fermented foods. So some people aren't meant to eat fermented foods because their body can't tolerate it. So if you eat those and get hives, it's a good thing that it's a good sign that you've got histamine problems. So the breakdown of histamine happens in two ways in our body. One is through the oxidation of the DAO enzyme, which is the diamine oxidase enzyme. And the other one is via the HNMT enzyme, which is the histamine N-methyltransferase. It's easier to say the acronyms than the actual words. So the location of the histamine usually determines what enzyme is involved in the breakdown. So DAO is responsible for the metabolism of from histamine causing foods. So if you are not producing enough DAO, or if you have problems with your gut, there's a good thing that's what's causing you the histamine. So histamine intolerance generally comes about when you are having compromised enzymatic function. So something's happening with your enzymes that don't allow you to break down either of those things, the DAO or the HNMT. That's a mouthful. They can be caused by genetic or acquired impairment of these enzymes. So things like alcohol, drugs, some foods also block DAO. So nutrients that support DAO are vitamin C, vitamin B, zinc, and copper. And some easy food sources are pea shoots, olive oil, and macadamia oil, which are really good. So what do you need to do if you have an increase of histamine? Work out the trigger. That's the first thing. Find out what it is that's setting you off. Gut repair is number 2. As there are bacteria that degrade histamine. So if you've had to take antibiotics and you've killed off some bacteria, maybe that's the cause. SIBO and conditions like IBD and other gut conditions, you know, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but they will also trigger histamine release. Look at number 3 is look at your stress levels. Physical and psychological stress both have adverse effects on the immune system, and the stress itself can cause increased need for those specific nutrients that you are that are needed to break down these enzymes or to make these enzymes work better. And when you're stressed, you're not getting them. So you need to incorporate daily me time. So exercise, quiet time, yin yoga, qigong, meditation, any of these things that will help reduce your stress. Even being alone for 5 minutes with the door shut so the kids can't talk to you or anybody can talk to you, that's a really good thing to do. We all have stress. We're all really busy. The issue is that this factor, you can't be ignored. Stress is one of the big things, as it's the driver of histamine intolerance generally, and not to mention the research coming out about how stress damages not only the lining of the gut but also of the bacteria. So something to think about. So that's it for today. Tomorrow I want to talk about the diet and histamine and some herbs that can be useful and some things you can do yourself that are useful. So look at the triggers, do some gut repair, look at your stress levels. They're all good things to do today. I'll see you tomorrow. Have a great day, everyone. Bye.